Good morning and welcome back to the channel and my Allegro project. Now, after last week's video, I had a few people comment on my post. One in particular, Alexandra Phillips. She may have got to the bottom of the problem. What I didn't realise, and annoyingly I knew this in the back of my head somewhere, I'd just forgotten it. There's a little ignition light on the dash there. If that's not illuminating, it doesn't complete the charging circuit. Who knew? So there's potentially a bulb out behind the dash there. So this morning I'm going to take that apart. I had a friend come over the weekend. He checked all the continuity on the connections to the starter motor, the alternator, and the battery and the starter solenoid. He's happy with all of those. So it does look like it's this bulb. And I mentioned in conversation that somebody on the Facebook post had said, oh, there's a charge light on the ignition. If that's not coming out, it won't complete the circuit. So I thought, I'll just check that. And lo and behold, yeah, that does seem to be the problem. So this morning, I'm going to take the speedo cluster apart. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. It's very straightforward, and we'll get to hopefully the bottom of this electrical issue. So let's, with no further ado, no more comments. You know what I'm talking about. Let's get on with it. So this is a slightly different dash to Alex's. She's got a Mark 1, for example. I'd go check her channel out. It's called Alex's Assets. It's on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description. She's got old cars, including Rovers and her Allegro Peggy. Well worth a check. This dash has got a little bit more going on. It's got a rather loud clock there. You can hear that probably. Right, so from left to right you've got fuel gauge, speedometer, rather annoying clock, and temperature gauge. On the dash illuminated you've got an oil pressure gauge there. I think the centre one is your indicators. Yeah, it does appear to be working. And that last one there should be the ignition light. So I'm going to take the fascia off now, which just pulls off, and we'll have a look and see what's going on behind. This panel should just pull off with a bit of wiggling. I've disconnected the battery obviously because I don't want any issues with the electrics. Should just pull off. I'm just being gentle with it because it's obviously old plastic. There we go. So that's off now. There's the bulb in there. I'll get the camera in and I'll show you what I'm looking at. So the culprit is this bulb here. I mean, it may even be a loose connection, but what I'm going to do is unscrew the cluster, which is just held in place with these 4 clips. I think there's a screw missing on that side. Someone's obviously been in here before, or it might have been a BritishLeyland mechanic who ended shift at the end of the day and couldn't be bothered to put the rest of it back together. It's also quite dirty in here, so this is going to give me a good opportunity to, I might just remove the entire unit, which means getting behind the binnacle there. There's a speedometer cable and obviously the multi-plug for the electrics. I'm going to try and get all that off. We'll get this on the bench inside and give it a good clean up. So let's get on with that. Ideally, you'd want to take the steering wheel off just to give a bit more access, but I haven't got the right socket to hand at the moment. In fact, I don't think I've got the right socket at the moment. You need quite a shallow socket to get to the nut that holds the steering wheel on there, so I have to make do with awkward angles at the moment. I'm sure this is riveting information, but hey ho. There's a clip missing on the top there. I suspect that's probably on the back of the cowling there. Might have come with it. Or someone's been in here before, which I suspect is entirely possible because the car is over 40 years old. Right. That should, in theory, pull forward, which it does. It's quite tight there. So I'm going to have to get my hand up behind the dash and unplug the multi-plug. Fun and games. Right, so I'm a bit further forward. Another tip that Alex mentioned was unclamping the speedo cable from the engine bay. That allows you to pull the clocks forward, which has saved a lot of time and grief because you end up with cut knuckles normally. So I'm just going to unbolt that cable. I'm going to unclamp the speedo cable from the back there, pull out the multi-plug, and that will allow me to remove the clocks without damaging them. So I've removed this from the car now, as you can see. I've removed the first bulb holder. That just comes out with a bit of a wiggle. Then that allows you to get access to the bulbs, which you simply pull out. So I'll get on with that now. I'll change all of these in situ. I might just spray some contact cleaner over the the pickups on the contact points just to make sure it's nice and clean and everything works. And then I'll do a trial fit in the car before I put it all back together. And hopefully we'll have a working alternator. Right. This is the moment. Batteries reconnected. Speeder clusters reconnected. Will this light illuminate? Okay. That's not the intended outcome. Bugger. Right. I took it all apart again. I cleaned it all up with contact cleaner. Maybe there was a loose connection or a bulb somewhere. Will this work? Yes! Yes! It works! We have a working charging system. Well, potentially. Right, let's button this back together and see if it's actually charging. Woo! Right, I think I have cracked this. If this has worked, big thank you to Alex. She's been a real help. I think, oh well, I can tell already it's done something. So, because we didn't have the light before, now we do. So ignition on. Check. Out of gear. Check. Will the light go out? Yes. Still a bit cold, but right, so we had 12.3 volts before. With the engine off, 12.95. Remember, it was 12.3 with the engine running before. So it's now, with that hooked up, we should get a reading if it's working. It's a bit cold. Well, 13.4, that's already higher. Yeah, we have a working alternator. Woo! Well, I'm going to call that job done. Thanks ever so much for watching, and thank you to Alex for all her help and advice. We now have a working car. Yes! So it must be time for a cup of tea. So I'm going to, on that note, the light's going as well. I'm going to leave you to it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.